Hi everyone, it's time for us to try the second of the Peated Islay Scotches on this little flight that we're doing. And while Bowmore, the first one we did, maybe wasn't that widely known for peated scotches compared to some of the more famous ones, the one we're doing today is one of, if not the most famous distilleries when it comes to peated scotches, Islay or otherwise. We're talking about a scotch that will either make or break your interest in peat, especially if it's one of the first ones that you try, because for some folks it is a pretty offensive flavor. For others, they absolutely love it. And I'm talking about Laphroaig, and specifically the bottling we're going to be trying is the 10-year-old, the Laphroaig 10. If you talk about a distillery that produces a peated profile that leans more toward medicinal iodine, maybe even like grassy, as opposed to like campfire smoke, like if you had a spectrum of those two, Laphroaig, I would say, leans way on the side of medicinal iodine. Some people call it like a band-aidy sort of flavor. It sounds gross. There's a lot of weird flavor notes that people come up with for some of these peated scotches, but bear with me if you haven't had this one yet. I think it's pretty good. Laphroaig actually is, I don't know if it's the first peated scotch that I've ever tried, but since I started getting into scotch and whiskey, it was the first one I tried that really blew my socks off, that made me realize, whoa, there's like a whole other world to what whiskey is and what scotch could be, and it's this peated stuff with this weird flavor profile that's not just smoky. And I think I really have Laphroaig to thank for getting into not just scotch whiskey, but whiskey in general. So it holds a special place in my heart. Let's see if it will find one in yours. So we take a look here. You see, I mean, to me it looks a little bit similar to the Bowmore that we tried as far as color. But if you look close, I think, maybe I'm imagining things. It's hard for me to tell whether this is chill filtered or not. It doesn't say non-chill filtered, I don't believe, so presumably it is. It doesn't say there's no color added, so you might want to presume that it is, but I'm not really sure. I know Laphroaig adds some color to some of their other stuff. I don't know whether they do on this one or not, but given how young it is and the fact that there is a decent amount of color in that, my guess is they probably add a little bit. As far as chill filtering goes, yeah, they probably do that too. Can't really say for sure. Supposedly, if you mix a little bit of water with it and you see some cloudiness right away when the water is in there, the droplets of water before it kind of disperses, it's usually a good indicator that it's not chill filtered or that it's not too chill filtered. I'm not going to do that right now, but if you want to experiment and take a look, go for it. It's your whiskey. Let's take a, yeah, so right on the nose, as you can probably tell, I'm doing this right after the Bowmore tasted. I'm wearing the same stuff, same lighting and everything, and it's very different. This, I don't pick up fruit, I pick up, oh man, like, it's hard to say exactly. It's definitely like artificial, almost like a chemically smell, a bit of that iodine sort of like medicinally smell with grass. Like I don't hear a lot of folks talk about a grassy quality to Laphroaig a whole lot. Maybe I'm just reading the wrong reviews, but it's something that I've picked up fairly consistently every time that I've tried it. For me, it's a combination of that sweet iodine with some grassiness, like long green grass, with a little bit of smoke in the background on the nose. And again, I know that a lot of folks, when they smell these peated scotches, they just get smoke, like it's a smoke bomb to their face. I don't know if I'm different or if it's just because I've been doing this for so long, but I do think the first time I ever tried this, the number one note I came away with was grass as opposed to smoke. So hopefully you're getting past the smoke. I really don't pick up too much of it on the nose, but let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, I don't get a ton of smoke. So I do get a lot of peat, which is where that grassy medicinal quality comes from. Immediately sweet on the front of the palate. And then immediately after that is where I get that medicinal quality, that strong iodine-y. People say Band-Aid. Maybe in the finish there's a little bit of that. I don't really pick up on that a ton. and then it's followed, I guess, in the mid to back palate for me with that grassy, and then the smoke kind of comes as well. And then as the finish continues, that's where the smoke kind of lingers with me. It becomes less of the iodine medicinal grassy flavors and more of a more constant smoke that for me is a little bit more potent than the Bowmore. So the Bowmore was very kind of soft and subtle, but still coated the mouth in smoke. This one, there's more flavor to it, it feels like. I taste it more. And this is 43% as opposed to the 40% that the Bowmore was. So there could be a little bit of that going on too. Tastes maybe a little bit more viscous, a little thicker. I wouldn't say creamy, but creamier maybe than the Bowmore was on the mouth, but not to a huge extent, I'd say. Yeah, maybe picking up a little bit of vanilla there too. I'm digging really deep and trying to figure out where that sweetness is coming from. It's less fruity to me. Maybe not. Hard for me to really put my finger on the sweetness. I got a little bit of vanilla at one point, but now it's hard for me to rule out fruitiness altogether. Well, that's Laphroaig. This is their, really their base product. This is the one that I'm sure they sell the most of. It's the one that if you go to a bar and you look for a Laphroaig, it's the one you're probably gonna find. If you go to a bar and you're asking for just a smoky single malt, this might be the one that they have. It's really good, really popular, really famous. You should be able to walk into any liquor store and find it for sure, maybe even in some grocery stores as well. I think anything, if you find it for 70s, probably about as high as would be reasonable, but I think you can find it for cheaper than that if you go to the right place at the right time before tax. So keep an eye out for it if you like it. I really do like this stuff. I think it's got a really unique flavor profile, and it's not for everyone though. So hopefully it was for you, definitely for me. If you do like this and you decide, hey, I want something even stronger, I want the full Laphroaig experience, well, they do sell this in their cask strength version. So take a look here. That's the Laphroaig 10 cask strength. The only super obvious way to tell the difference is just by looking for this green stripe that says original cask strength right there. The proof and ABV on that is going to vary by batch. The one I have right here is batch 11, and it's 58.6 ABV. So quite a bit more boozy than this one here, quite a bit more potent than that one here too, but you do get a, I don't know if I'd say a better sense of the flavors, but you get the full experience, that's for sure. And I think with this one, I actually do like to put a few drops of water in that just to bring out some of the flavors and not to be super overwhelmed with what I'm drinking. But if you like Laphroaig, I think those are good ways to go. Hope you did, and we'll see you for the next one. Cheers.